You open your eyes on a Sunday morning, and you are the happiest man alive. You know this the way you know your own name, the way you know the smell of her shampoo on the pillow next to yours, the way you know exactly how she takes her coffee. 2 sugars, a splash of oat milk, stirred counterclockwise. For some reason she has never explained, and you have never questioned. You know these things, the way you know gravity, automatically, completely, without ever having learned them. That should have been your first clue. But the eggs are sizzling, the kitchen is warm, and she is walking downstairs in her robe, hair still messy from sleep. And honestly, what kind of man notices clues on a morning like this? You pour her coffee. She takes the first sip. She looks at you over the rim of that mug, like you hung the sun outside that window, personally. "Morning, husband," she says, and you think, I would burn down every version of every life I never lived, just to end up here, in this kitchen, on this Sunday, with this woman, which, as it turns out, is almost exactly what she did. Her name is Wanda. You know that much is real. You know she came from somewhere far away. Eastern Europe, she says, vaguely, with a look that closes like a door whenever you press for details. You know she lost people, a brother, someone else she won't name. You know the grief sits in her, like a stone at the bottom of a river, invisible most of the time, but everything flows around it. You don't push. You love her. You give her space. You are, by every measurable standard, a good husband. Your name is Daniel. You are 34 years old. You work at the town newspaper, writing the kind of small-town stories that nobody outside of Westview will ever read. You have a car, a mortgage, a slightly overgrown front yard, and a wife who sometimes stares out the kitchen window with an expression you cannot translate. You have a whole life, a whole, detailed, specific, documented life. You just cannot remember any of it happening. 6 months into the marriage, you start finding the edges. It starts small, embarrassingly small. You reach for a memory, your college roommate's name, the city where you grew up, your mother's face, and your hand closes around. Nothing. Not foggy, just absent. Like a bookshelf with perfect spacing between the books, but no actual books. You chalk it up to stress. Then one morning, you are shaving, and the mirror does something it absolutely should not do. Your reflection moves. A half second after you do. Not much. Just enough. You lean left. Your reflection leans left. And then snapping into place, like a loading screen catching up. You stare at yourself for a long time. Your reflection stares back. Perfectly normal, perfectly synced, like it was never anything else. You tell Wanda at breakfast. She laughs softly. "You're tired, baby. You've been working too hard." She reaches across the table and covers your hand with hers. And the warmth of it is so immediate, so absolute, that the mirror feels distant and probably stupid. Within 30 seconds, you drop it. But the glitches don't drop you. 2 weeks later, you are walking to the mailbox, and you take a step that doesn't land right. Your foot goes through the pavement. Not through it, exactly, but into it. Just an inch. Just for half a second. The way a foot sinks into wet sand, before the sand hardens again. You look down. Perfectly solid concrete. You look around. Nobody saw. You stand there for 60 seconds. Heart hammering. Telling yourself it was a dip in the road. There is no dip in the road. You go back inside. You sit in your armchair. And for the first time since you woke up in this life, you sit very still. You think about the bookshelf with no books. You think about the reflection. You think about the pavement. You think about the coffee, stirred counterclockwise, and the way you knew her name before she told it to you. You think about the town, Westview, and how you have lived here your whole life, apparently, but you cannot name a single person you knew before her. You think about the man you saw last Tuesday, wearing clothes that were slightly wrong for the era, like a costume assembled from a description of regular clothes, rather than actual regular clothes. Standing at the end of your street, watching your house with an expression you could only call haunted. You had waved. He hadn't waved back. He had just looked at your house, like it had done something to him, personally. You had mentioned him to Wanda. She had changed the subject. You got conversational whiplash. You find the man on a Thursday. He is sitting on a bench at the edge of town, where the road gets weird. You push through the resistance. This time, he looks up when he hears your footsteps. Up close, he is stranger than you expected. His eyes are the wrong color. Not wrong, like unusual. A shade of yellow gold that human eyes simply are not. His skin, in certain light, has a faint texture that makes you think of something synthetic. He is sitting perfectly still, in a way that a person sitting on a bench doesn't sit. No fidgeting, no micro adjustments, no casual human restlessness. You're noticing things, he says, not a question. You sit down. Who are you? He is quiet for a moment. My name is Vision. I was her husband. Before. The sentence rearranges the furniture of your entire mind. Before? Before what? You ask. Though something in your chest already knows. Before you, he says simply. Before she decided to try again. He doesn't tell you everything. He doesn't have to. He tells you enough. He tells you about grief that became power. About a woman who lost so much that the universe itself bent under the weight of it. He tells you about a town reshaped like clay. About people redirected like water. About a reality rewritten, the way a child rewrites a story they don't like the ending of. He tells you he was real once. Built. Not born, but real. And that she made him real again here, inside this place, and loved him genuinely and completely. And that none of that had stopped it from being a cage. She doesn't mean harm, he says. He sounds like a man defending someone he loves and resents simultaneously. You recognize the tone. You've used it yourself. She means relief. She means survival. But the two look identical from inside the hex. The hex, you repeat, the boundary, the edge of what's real. He nods toward the tree line at the end of the road. Beyond that is the actual world. People who have been watching this town like a television program for months. You look at the tree line. Your legs do the thing. That quiet insistence that there is nothing worth walking toward. You feel it now for what it is. Not instinct. A leash. She built me, you say out loud, for the first time, just to hear how it sounds. It sounds like a door, falling off its hinges. She built you, Vision confirms, gently. Like a doctor delivering a result, he wishes were different. A husband, a life, colleagues at the paper, neighbors who remember you. She was very thorough. Does she know? Your voice comes out harder than you intend. Does she know she did this to me specifically? Did she design me? Did she sit down and think, let me build a man? I think, Vision says carefully, that she thought of someone she could have loved, and then she made him real. Whether that is better or worse than designing you, I genuinely cannot say. You sit with that for a long time. The birds are too consistent. You notice that now. Same 3 calls, rotating, a program on loop. Even the birds aren't real. You go home. She is in the kitchen, making dinner. She looks up when you walk in and smiles. God, that smile. And for one terrible second, you almost let it go. You almost sit down. You almost eat dinner. You almost choose the beautiful fake thing over the ugly real one, because the beautiful fake thing has her in it, and the ugly real one does not. Almost. Wanda, you say, stop. Just stop for a second. She stops stirring. Something in her face shifts. Not guilt, exactly. More like dread. The face of someone who has been waiting for a knock on a door they hoped would never come. I met him, you say. Vision. I talked to him. The spoon clinks against the pot. He told me what this place is. Your voice is steady, which surprises you. He told me what I am. She turns around, slowly. Her eyes are already bright, already filled with something halfway between grief and defiance. I was going to, she starts. What? The steadiness cracks, just slightly. After how many Sunday mornings? After how many anniversary dinners? When exactly were you going to look at me and say, hey, by the way, I made you. Like a paper doll. I do love you, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. What I feel is real. I know, you say, and the anger starts its slow collapse into something worse, something quieter. That's the part I can't get past, Wanda. The love is real. You genuinely love me, but you loved an idea first. You needed a husband, so you built one, and then you loved what you built. That's not the same as loving a person. The hex starts breaking down around midnight. You don't know if she lets it go deliberately, or if the weight of the conversation just exceeds whatever will is holding Westview together. Either way, the walls begin to breathe. The kitchen flickers, 1950s tile to 1970s wallpaper to something modern, and then nothing. Just the bare bones of a house that has been empty for years. Outside, you can hear it now. Helicopters, generators. The actual world pressing against the bubble like it always was. She is sitting on the kitchen floor. Not dramatically, just sitting. Like her legs gave out, she looks very small. Not like the woman who bent a town. Like the girl from Sokovia, who just wanted her brother back. Who just wanted one thing in the world, not to be taken from her. You sit down, across from her, on the flickering floor. How do you do it, you ask? How do you keep losing people? I don't know, she whispers. I just keep waking up. You look at her for a long time. Your wife? Not your wife. The woman who built you. The woman who, in building you, made something that somehow feels real from the inside, even knowing what it is. The man you thought of, you say quietly. When you made me, was he someone real? Someone you actually knew? She nods, almost imperceptibly. Did you love him? I wanted to, she says. I never got the chance. And there it is. The saddest sentence in the world. I never got the chance. So she made the chance. She manufactured the missing chapter. She wrote herself a love story. Because the real one got cancelled before it started. You reach out and take her hand. She looks at you like she can't understand why you're still sitting there. I can't stay, you tell her. You know that. She nods. She does know. That's the most heartbreaking part. She knows. When this comes down, you say, find him. The real one. The one you thought of. He might not. Find him anyway. That's what real feels like. Things that might not work out. Risks. The possibility that someone could actually choose you back. Built things can't choose. That's what you're missing. She breaks then, quietly. The way strong people break. Not loudly, just completely, all at once. A sound like something very old, finally setting down its weight. The Hex Falls at dawn. You feel it happening, the way you feel something half-remembered. Like a song you knew as a child, fading before you can catch the words. The kitchen becomes concrete. The house becomes skeleton. The street outside becomes a real street, with real people stumbling out of real houses, blinking in the cold morning air like they're waking up for the first time. You stand in the middle of it. For a moment, just a moment, you are completely, solidly, undeniably there. A man on a street in the early morning, breathing, present, real in the way that only things that are about to stop being real ever truly feel. You look at your hands, still there, still yours, hers. And then, like a wave, going out, quietly, without drama, without a sound. You're not. Across town, agents pour through the perimeter. People are crying, confused, stumbling. Wanda stands at the center of it all, alone, her hands at her sides, red energy fading from her fingers, like embers, going cold. Vision finds her there. He stands at a careful distance, studying her with those impossible eyes. Are you all right? He asks. No, she says, honestly. He nods. She looks once at the space where the house was, where the kitchen was, where a man who never existed once sat across from her on a flickering floor and held her hand and told her the most generous and devastating truth she has ever been told. Built things can't choose. That's what you're missing. She turns away from Westview and walks toward the tree line, toward whatever comes next, toward the terrifying, ordinary world. where love is not guaranteed, and people are not buildable, and the chance might still be out there. Unmanufactured. Waiting. Somewhere in a small town that is not Westview, a man named Daniel, the real one, the one she thought of, is making coffee in his real kitchen. 2 sugars. A splash of oat milk. He doesn't know why he stirs it counterclockwise. He never has. And that's the story. If you made it here, honestly, respect. And hey, drop it down in the comments. Who should we marry next? There's another one already waiting on your screen right now. Same vibe, different world. Hits just as hard. Go check it out. Trust the story.